Everybody, welcome to part 2 of the mailbag. Our next Rickey Henderson theme is Rickey scored a lot of runs. Rickey referred to himself in the third person. Rickey scored a lot of runs. When he broke, legend has it. Again, I'm going to preface all of these as urban legends. I don't know how many of them are true, but they're certainly entertaining. Rickey broke Ty Cobb's career record for runs scored with a home run, and after taking his usual 45 seconds around the bases, he he slid into home. Like, I just imagine, like, he's probably in, his 20th year or so, and he's like, you know what? It's all about Rickey, man. I'm gonna take this one for Rickey. So we're gonna talk about how to find runs in MLB DFS. It's so stupid. I've heard this story 1,000 times and I still laugh. So this comes from Ben. Hi, John. I just watched your Bridge the Gap DFS Bale's video. I thought it was helpful in addition to Bale's books. In both your video and Bale's book, you mentioned teams' odds scoring the most runs, and I agree this is definitely a way to leverage yourself above the field in terms of ownership. I was wondering if there was an equation on hand that you use to calculate teams' odds of being the highest scoring team on the slate, or a resource that you use to find them. Phenomenal question. And this is my favorite part about MLB DFS, is that there's many ways to solve the problem. There's many ways to skin the cat, however you want to phrase it. So I'm going to show you a couple of methods, a couple of research tools that I've used to leverage runs. So we'll do a little walkthrough of each one. So for that, I'll pull up my web browser. The first one is covers.com. This is a handicapping website, and they have a ton of great content. I don't think a lot of DFS players use this stuff, again, because it's primarily for handicapping, but there's a lot of ads on the site, so it takes a minute to load up. So we'll just wait for that to load up. There we go. So this is the MLB page. There's games that are going on right now, live action. So we'll want to go to the next day. So this is Wednesday the 24th. And on each game, there is a matchup tab that you can click on. And they have a wealth of stats pertaining to the matchup. I'm not going to cover everything because there is a lot of noise here, and we're trying to search for the signal. We talked about the signal and noise in past videos. Sorry, guys, I apologize. It's taking forever to load. I should have had it pulled up before. It's amateur hour over here. Definitely not Rickey Henderson here. All right, so we'll scroll down, close this pop-up ad, and you want to go down to the stats analysis, all the way here down at the bottom. And this is really cool. So it gives you a handful of splits. And so I try to keep things as simple as possible. So in DFS, if you're wanting runs scored, well, how do you try to find the determining factor for that? Well, there's numerous, and I try to focus on pitching. So the first thing you can take a look at is going down to the pitching, Royals versus Rays. It has the ERA. So the Royals give up 6 runs a game, Rays are giving up 3. I always like home and away splits. I know splits get a bad name in DFS, and that's usually because people are talking about, the handedness of the pitcher versus the hitter and vice versa, but I think more about home and away splits. I have had a job in the past that required me to do a lot of travel, and it sucked. It affects your body, and so if you don't think that these athletes being away from their families and their homes is affecting them, you're crazy. So I love home and away splits. Again, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So this is where you find the information. So the Rays at home giving up less than 3 runs a game, and again the Royals. So the first thing that I see was something like this. I know that this is for tomorrow morning's morning slate. The Rays bats is something that I would already catch my radar as something to target. So what you do is you just open up, or you start your own Google sheet or an Excel sheet, and you just record all of the runs, ERA available, and you can just go from there and then target, the top couple teams, all the teams, or how to prioritize your team based off of ERA. If you like ERA. If you don't like ERA and you prefer the advanced stats and analytics, Fangraphs is an awesome site. So we'll go to Fangraphs next. It's free for the most parts, but their site has a ton of pop-ups as well. And I just elected to do the premium version so that you could get this nice and clean with no pop-ups. So see how quicker this loaded than the other ones. So again, this is this year, and you can sort it by home or away. So what I'll typically do is I'll open up 2 tabs, and I'll have the away statistics here, and I will go down to the home splits here, and I'll just show you guys my Google Sheet. So this is what it looks like. I'll put all of the games, the times, because I play all of the slates. So if I need to pull teams from the next slate, and I'll load it up here, and then I will just copy and paste it to the next days, and then I'll sort by the whatever statistic I'm looking for to attack pitching. So here are the home and away statistics. I think the 2 of the best stats to look at are K percentage. And you can sort by K percentage. The higher the K percentage, the better the pitchers. So if they have a high K percentage and they are really good pitchers, then the argument can be made the lower the K percentage, the worse the pitching. Again, this isn't going to transpire accurately every single day, but we're just trying to isolate stuff that we can exploit or take advantage of and bet on where we can find some runs. So I like K percentage, and the other is K per 9. So K percentage is actually the percentage of batters that they strike out that they face. The K over 9 is how many strikeouts the team is averaging over 9 innings. So again, the less pitching, dominant pitching down here. And the argument being, or the logic behind it being, if they're struggling to get strikeouts, the less strikeouts, the more balls that are put in play, the more walks, the more things are moving in motion that are working against the pitcher that could lead to runs. Ultimately, you want home runs. Home runs are a little bit more challenging to predict, but if you just focus on trying to find runs and you are building around a handful of teams, more often than not, you're going to find a good chance to get 5, 6, 7, 8 runs, and sometimes even hit on the slate breaking double-digit runs. So that's Fangraphs. Next is checking out handicapping websites. So the handicapping website that I use is 5 Dimes. They are the best. I mean, in terms of they offer the most and they have the most options. And I can't remember my own password. Why did this happens every time I do a video? Okay, so for MLB, I don't know if the team totals will be out tomorrow. So yeah, they're not out yet. So if you logged on to this site, so the way that this reads, if you're not familiar with Major League betting and the betting line, so basically what this is the pitchers, the probable pitchers that are pitching. The plus 1.5, minus 1.5 is the run line. So let's say you're too nervous to think the Brewers are going to win outright. Well, then you can bet on the Brewers plus 1.5 runs. So if the Brewers win or lose by 1, you win. If the Brewers win outright, you will win $1.23 on a dollar bet. So, but the thing that we want to look at is the total runs. So right here it says total runs. On the right, tomorrow morning, it will show the projected team runs. So on a total run, so the way that this would work out, and you can do the math backwards. So the way that this will work out tomorrow is 9 runs. The favorite will probably be projected for 5, and the underdog will be projected for 4. So here we have a 10.5. So you can do the math backwards. So you'll probably have the favorite at 5.5 runs and the underdog at 5 runs. It's a Coors game, so high-scoring games. And then again, you just make your chart on your Google Doc, and those are the sites that I use to find runs. You want to try to find runs, and then you work backwards, and wherever you can find runs, those are the bats that you're going to be on. So again, you guys are going to see this in my videos all the time. The most contrarian thing is to not oppose the crowd, but to think for yourself. If you hate my methods, don't use them. If you think they suck, don't use them. If you like them, or you like an aspect of them, take it. But ultimately, you have to make your own decisions. I don't have to sleep with the results of your DFS. I only have to sleep with my own DFS results. So do what you feel is best and what you're most comfortable with. So get the runs like Ricky, but think like Pete. Thank you again for checking out this segment. We'll wrap up the episode 2 here of this guy, and we'll fire up section 3, and we'll dive in more into the process of my DFS process. Thanks all.